government. It's got no military. It's got no anything. It's got one thing that's really strong: crime. It's got a lot of crime. They have no police. All they do is run around shooting each other. It's filthy dirty, disgusting dirty. It's a horrible place. They come here, and Ilhan Omar, you ever hear of her? She heads it. And think of it.
Watch Party Part 2.
Crime, poverty, pollution, everything is horrible out there. Nothing good. They say it's the worst country anywhere in the world. There are some beauties out there, but it's the worst. And then she comes here from Somalia, and she tells us how to run the United States of America. She says the Constitution gives me some rights. And I demand what the hell I want, a phony.
Wow! What a rush! Jetzt mal alles voll gesquirtet.
But I think I would imagine her looking at her. I have nothing to do with it. I would imagine.
Köstlich.
Of course I have nothing to do with it. I have nothing but. I believe she married her.
Nothing but the truth.
Totally illegal. Well, it's a lovely couple, actually, but it's a little bit on the illegal side. Darling, I love you very much.
Love you too.
Brother, let's go to bed. Isn't she despicable? I can't stand her. I can't stand her. Did you see last month? She accidentally checked the wrong box. It said she was worth $38 million. And law enforcement came after her for that. And then all of a sudden she was worth less than $80,000.
Oh my God!
It was accounting. It was an accounting error. That was not a very good accountant, was it? Huh? Now, their whole life is based on fraud and a scam. The whole thing is a scam.
The whole
Get those
thing.
people the hell out of our country.
Get out.
To get better care to our seniors much more quickly, my administration has dramatically accelerated Medicare. Prior authorization's a big deal. That's what used to take days and weeks and months to get, and now you're getting it done in a matter of minutes. Really, I mean, unbelievable job you've done.
Perfect.
Minutes. And we have a big search for fraud. Very little. You know, when people get arrested all over Minnesota, all over California, when you see what we're coming up with in California, Gavin Newsom is not good. But he gave the worst interview a month ago. Did you see it? Where he said he was incompetent, he can't read, he can't write, he can't do it. He said he's horrible for testing. We should
Horrible.
do a test. I took 3 of them, aced all of them, by the way. You know, I'm the only president to take a cognitive test, because I don't think Obama could pass it. I don't. Didn't he get into Harvard with a C average? I don't know. What's that? I don't think he could pass it. I don't think.
I couldn't pass it.
You know, the first question is very easy. It's a lion, a giraffe, a bear, and a shark. They say, which one is the bear? And everybody says, 30 questions. Everyone says, very standard. It's a very standard test, but very tough around those last 10 questions. Not too many people, even in this very room. Unlike Newsom, I'll say, this room of geniuses. He said, I'm in a room of dumb people. That was not good. That was not good. You know what happened to him after that? It wasn't a pretty, but I'm in a room of brilliant people, but a lot of you wouldn't have been able to answer those 10 questions. And when I got the score in the test, the doctor said, wow, I've never seen, you know, you have 5 doctors lined up. They're all over the place. I said, should I take it? You know, I've had different phases. They've said, he's a mad genius. I didn't mind that too much. Then they said, he's a horrible human being. I don't like that. Then they said, he's really not a smart person at all. I really hated that. So I took a cognitive test, and I said to the doctor, first doctor is Dr. Ronnie. You know Dr. Ronnie. We all love Dr. Ronnie. But he had a whole team of doctors at Walter Reed, a great place. I said, so should I do it? He said, well, it's a tough exam. 20 questions, they get tough. A lot of people can't do them. I said, well, what do you think? He said, well, if you do it, they're going to find out because it's essentially a public, it's a military hospital. If you do badly, they're going to find out and it won't be pleasant. I said, well, I do well and things, so let's do it. And I got everyone right. And these are tough questions. These are tough questions, They say take a number, any number. Okay, I'll take 99. Multiply times 9, okay? Divided by 3, good. Add 4,293, that's good. Divide by 2. Subtract 93. Divide by 9. What is your answer? Now they go a little slower than that, but not much. I don't want to waste a lot of time. But there were a lot of people that get it right. I got it right. It was actually longer and more complex. But no, it's a tough test, so I took it. And then everyone said, oh, he's smart. He's smart. It's not really smart. It's like, we are really. We have common sense. We're people with common sense. Right? We like strong borders. We don't like open borders for the world to pour into our country. Right? From prisons all over the Congo, all over South America. The Congo, I tell you what, the Congo, they just used to think that we were just an open cesspool where they take all their prisoners and dump them into our country. Parts of South America, the same thing is terrible. So, as you know, we've done a fantastic job. But I just felt, and I put out yesterday a statement, I think anybody running for president or vice president should be forced to take a cognitive examination. Gets in, he's got a good line of crap, he gets in, and all of a sudden you're stuck with a man who's a moron. This is not good. This is not good. We went through 4 years of it. It's not a good situation. But we also dramatically increased coverage for outpatient clinical care known as site-neutral payments, stopping seniors from being ripped off by billions of dollars of outrageous fees that they charge, billions and billions of dollars, right? And on top of these major Medicare improvements, I'm pleased to report today that we have authorized $210 million in rural health care funding for the great state of Florida. We're taking some of the money that they scammed. We're catching billions of dollars, billions. Minnesota, it's like you ever hear the expression shooting fish in a barrel? It's like shooting fish in a barrel. And that governor and that attorney general is so crooked. It's so horrible. It's so horrible. Well, stranger things have happened, I will tell you. By the way, and our attorney general is doing a very good job, isn't he? Todd Blanche, she's doing a very good job. A lot of action. There's a lot of pent-up action. Perhaps most importantly for our great seniors, I've secured the largest reduction in drug prices in American history. You see it? Under my most favored nation agreements, we are delivering you the record-setting discounts with price differences of 400%, 500%, and 600, 700, and even sometimes 800% reductions. Now, some people would say it's 80, 90, 70. It depends on the way you phrase the statement. But it could be 500, 600%. It could be 90%.
90%?
We've got you the largest reductions in history. The largest reductions. We were the most overpriced. We had the highest price for prescription drugs anywhere in the world. And now we have the lowest prices anywhere in the world. That's all you have to do. And they get that because Oz said to me, it's going to be very tough. The drug company's going to be bad, but we had to get the approval of regulations. As an example, I talked about the fat drug. The fat drug, a friend of mine is extremely fat. Very wealthy and very obnoxious. He's a very unattractive individual, actually. But he's extremely smart, very, very successful. He's a highly neurotic person, semi-controlled. I would say, usually I like to say I like a neurotic person, but it has to be controlled. This guy's only semi, but he's in London. And he calls me, he goes, President, in New York, I'm paying like $87 for the fat drug. He called it the fat shot. I'm giving it that name, the fat shot. And I said,
The
"Well,
fat
what do you
chad.
do?"
The fat chad.
$87 in London. In New York, I'm paying like I think it was $1,300. So I'm paying like $1,300 and $87. What's that all about? And other people would call me the same, but he made a big input because he's a very smart guy. He said, "You know what? I had it traced. It's made in the same factory. It's made by the same company. Everything's the same except the price. One's $87 and one's $1,300. He said, "This is ridiculous." And it did hit me the right way. And we went to town, didn't we? We went to town. And we shamed the drug prices because they were for years said, "Well, you know, it's research and development." They said, "Well, it's research and development for them also, right?" But we got them. They weren't easy, but we got all of them lined up. But they said it didn't matter. The reason we got them because they said we'd never get the other countries. We had to get approval of the other countries where they'd have to double their prices and triple their prices because we come way down, they go up a little bit because the world is bigger than us, right? So they go up a little bit. So I call up, like, as an example, France. I spoke with Macron, right? You know Macron, he's a wonderful guy, president of the country, nice guy. So I say, "Emmanuel, your drug prices are a tiny fraction of ours. We can't have that. We're going to have to raise it." "No, Donald, I will not do that." "No, you won't. Emmanuel, no, you won't. 100% you can do it." No, I will not do it." And this went on for about 2 minutes. I'm saying you will. You're saying you won't. So most people say you won't do it. And I said to him, "Emmanuel, if you don't do it, I'm going to put a 250% tariff on all wines and champagnes that you ship into our country." And he said, Donald, how dare you? You should not do that. You cannot do that." And I said, "No, I'm going to do it." "Okay, you have a deal." That was Jen Hyatt. And I told Oz couldn't believe it. She couldn't believe it. And we had the same thing with Germany. We had the same thing with the other countries. We said, "Look, you're not going to do it. We're going to tariff the hell out of you and double the number that you're talking about." And they all agreed. Every one of those countries agreed. And now you have the lowest drug prices anywhere in the world from the highest. And that alone should win us the midterms. But, you know, the fake news doesn't like to write about it. They don't even like. I noticed a couple of the cameras went off when I was talking about it. When I'm getting to a really juicy subject, to me, that's a juicy thing of it. I mean, you talk about healthcare, it's all around medicines and everything else. And Byron, how big a deal is that, right? By the way, this guy's going to be a great governor. Going to be great. Ag Commissioner, you just stand up. What job he's doing? What a job. My Ag Commissioner, who I endorse so long. So I just want to thank you all. You guys are doing a great job. Byron, you're going to be fantastic. Somebody named Ashley, who's very respected. Will you please stand up? Senator, our great senator. I suppose you're all leading like a lot. But remember, make it too big to rig. You got to go out and vote. Don't assume anything, you know. We did great in the second election. It was a rigged election, but we did great. And I said, well, I had the ultimate poll because we won the second election by a lot. So that's a good poll. So we did it again. And I said, too big to rig. You got to make it too big. They should be leading by a lot. And I said, don't be fooled. Just go out and vote because they are cheaters. They cheat like hell. But all of you have to do, and really what you want to do is Trump, and I didn't name it. This was named by Bobby Kennedy and Dr. Oz. I did not name it. Is that right? I said, what is that? TrumpRx.gov. Okay. I said, everyone thinks I put my name on it. I don't think I'm going to put my name on medical things. I mean,
Okay.
You know, medical things can be very dangerous to have your name on, to be honest with you. But it's setting, I guess, records from what I understand. There's never been anything like it. So TrumpRx.gov, go to it and buy your medicines for very little money. Very little money difference. Nobody's ever seen it anyway. And I wish the press would talk about it, but the word is out, and it doesn't probably matter that much. The word is out. They don't want to talk about it. They only want to talk about the bad. But this is really something that's special. I'm very proud. But today, I'm thrilled to announce that starting on July 1st, we will also provide Medicare patients with the coverage for weight loss drugs like Ozempic, Zepbound, Wegovy. It will be available for $50 a month. $50. Wow. Now think of that, $50 a month. So it was $1,300. Now it's $50, and the $1,300 doesn't cover a whole month. So it's really even more than that. So it's now down to $50. So that's where you get it. And also, you remember when I got insulin, I got it down to $25 insulin. It was $2,000. And that was before this. That was before this. I'm so glad you mentioned this. You know, when I got insulin done, it was at the end of my term, and I got it done, but it doesn't kick in statutorily for 2 years. And I said, I'm going to win the election. This is going into the second election, because what a job I did. You know, insulin was like $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. I got it to $25, but it kicked in. It kicked in about a year and a half, 2 years later, statutorily. You had to wait a period of time and all of that nonsense. So I said, boy, I'm going to win, because I know some guys that I take credit for something that I did that they could have never done. Lo and behold, the election was rigged. And I saw Biden a year later standing up there saying, what a great compliment. So he doesn't know what the hell. He had no idea. And I was standing there seething. I was watching television, you know what it is to see. I see it a lot. But this is one of the times I was seething. Oz knows that. I was so angry. I said, I did it, and I didn't get credit for it. We did a lot of things we didn't get credit for, but I just did it because here I am, a person to take us. Not only are we taking care of your physical health, we're also taking care of the financial health of our seniors. As you're probably seeing, the 401ks and retirement accounts of millions of American seniors are skyrocketing like never before. You know, we're in a war, because I think you would agree we cannot let lunatics have a nuclear weapon. Do you agree?
Yeah, definitely.
Because if you read the fake polls and things, it says, well, it's only 20% to 25. It's nonsense. And look at this thing. I'm talking about all these things you're getting. You stand up when I talk about you can't let them in. You can't. But I did something that was, I don't know, it was great, but it was fun. I would do it again, but I thought the numbers would be much worse. I thought the stock market would go down much more. I thought the oil prices would go up much more. I said, well, we have no choice. Whether it does or doesn't happen, do what's right. We can't let them out of the weapon. So I called these Scott Benson and all of my people, most of my financial people, and I said, all right, folks, congratulations. We just did the highest price increase in the stock market. Saying the Dow would never hit 50 or 6, 7 years out, maybe.
6, 7.
They said the S&P could never hit 7,000. It's more unlikely. Maybe at the end of the 4th year, probably not. 5 or 6 years out. And maybe at 50,000 down before the end of my first year. 7,000 is before the end of my first year. The stock market is rocking and rolling. Your 401ks are at the highest they've ever been. I don't have to listen. I don't know how the hell you could be doing badly. But your 401ks are setting records. I have people coming up to me and saying,
I'm happy as hell.
"You made me a hero to my wife. You made me a hero." I've had numerous policemen. I had one guy from years ago because I did the same thing. We had the greatest financial markets in the history of our country my first term. We're blowing it away now. We're blowing everything away. There's never been a country this successful in that sense before. But yeah. But now I said, okay, you ever do this? Well, you're doing so well. I said, so we just set every record. We have the highest market in history. We have things that just go. And by the way, there are more jobs today in our country than at any time in the history of our country by far. Right? But we have to think a little long term. And I said to Scott and Howard and all of the people that went through great people, Jameson, all of them, I called them and I said, fellas, congratulations. We have the highest stock market in America. Everyone's doing great. Oil prices are very good. 16%. I said, congratulations. Now I'm going to send the apple cart to you because we have to take a little journey down to a beautiful country known as Iran. And we have to make sure that they don't have a nuclear weapon. We stopped them with the B-2 bombers. If we didn't do that, we would have had a nuclear weapon. Israel would have been blown to pieces. The Middle East would have been blown to pieces. I think Europe would have been blown to pieces. But under what we were doing, I said, look, we're going to have to make this journey. So it's almost like we built up this great thing. And then I said, now we have to break the eggs a little bit, and we have to go and do it. And the only thing that I'm surprised is that I really thought oil would be Dr. Oz. We talked about it. I thought oil would be much higher than it turned out to be. I mean, it's not low, it's certainly not low. It's going to come crashing down as soon as this war's over, and they're getting decimated. They have no Navy. They have no Air Force. They have no anti-aircraft equipment. They have no radar. They have no leaders. The leaders are all gone. Very sad, very fine people. But with all of that, I said we have to do it. So I think you understand. But I am surprised. I thought the stock market would go down by 25%. I thought that oil prices would be at much higher than they are right now. They're not nearly as high as I thought. And we're gonna, we're winning so big. We're winning again. Their Air Force is gone. Their ships are gone. They have a Navy, 159 ships. That's a pretty big Navy. Within the first week, 159 out of 159 ships are right now lying at the bottom of the sea. Their Navy is gone. And we're discussing, I spoke to him today, we're discussing, it's a little hard to figure out who their leaders are. The leaders are gone, the first set is gone, the second set is gone, Khomeini was gone. And they were pretty evil people. Not pretty evil, they were evil. They killed 42,000 protesters. 42,000! And in a period of 2 weeks, they killed 42,000 protesters. But we had to get this done, and we're really doing well. We're just winning. If it were a fight, they'd stop it. If this were a fight, they'd stop it. You know that expression is true. But they're not coming through with the kind of deal that we have to have, and we're going to get this thing done properly. We're not going to leave early and then have the problem arise in 3 days. Under 4 years of Crooked Joe, I go Crooked and Sleepy. Which is better, Sleepy Joe or Crooked Joe? Ready? Sleepy Joe. Crooked Joe. I love it. It's 3 polls. You know, if I went to a pollster, they're all phony. If I went to a pollster, I'd pay $1 million for their question. Give me $1 million, sir. And then they don't go to him. They just put it down whatever they want. They say, we scoured the countryside. They didn't scour. They sit in their room watching television. They say, let's give Trump a little bit of an advantage that makes him happy. Under 4 years of Crooked Joe Biden, the average 401k rose at the rate of $875 a year. Okay, that's something, a little range. But you know why he rose? Because of me, with the 4 years that we had. Because after that, there was nothing. He would have gone down. They took over the momentum of what we created in the first 4 years, which was incredible. Under Trump, so it's $875. Under Trump, the number of $875 is 75 versus 30,000. For seniors, that number's big.
That's President Trump speaking at the Villages in Florida. We're going to have to wrap up our show soon and hand it over to the five. But before we do, we want to share with you this. I sat down with Kid Rock, who is kicking off tonight his Freedom 250 tour right here in Dallas. I spoke to him about his inspirations from patriotism to his support for the United States military. I wanted to share that with you. Tell me a little bit about this tour. You're not just here in Dallas, you're going to be all over.
Yeah, we're doing 14 shows between Rock the Country and the Freedom 250 tour. I mean, I've always been pretty patriotic in my shows. And this was just an excuse to take it completely over the top. So I got a couple cannons made. I have a Liberty Bell, replica of the Liberty Bell we got made. As I hinted the other day, I may or not be getting dropped off by a couple of Apaches for the show we show every night. It's a great choir soundtrack that starts with just these images of American history, everything from Betsy Ross soda flag to, it's like Harriet Tubman walking through the woods at night. Just real. I don't think there's ever been a more patriotic rock and roll show in the history of rock and roll.
You just said I've always been pretty patriotic in my shows. Has it always been the case, or was there a moment for you? Like when I started listening to you in the 90s, I'm not sure that was as big a part of your image as it is today. Was there something that happened or changed?
I mean, it was still more attitude. I mean, American Badass was on my second successful record, but that was not necessarily a big patriotic song. I think it really started with the bombing of the USS Cole. And my mother really encouraged me from her brother.
Good.
World War II to
Mega.
with that time to do something, to help
Go.
play my music when that ship got